I feel like this culture of no expectations is, I don't know, it's like a blessing and a curse in a way, a good and a bad thing. Because this is what people say. If you don't expect anything out of people, then you won't be disappointed, which makes sense. But it's also a fact that if you don't expect things out of people, you also won't get them. I believe that what has happened is we've taken this no expectations mantra, and it's backfired because we have no expectations of each other. Even when people have volunteered for positions or in positions where there are expectations. But then when someone falls short, we'll say, well, we shouldn't have expectations. Then we wouldn't have gotten disappointed. Yeah, but also if a person doesn't meet the expectations, they shouldn't be in position. And that goes for every area of our lives. Even when it comes to a parent, there are expectations of a parent. And how can we tell a child not to have expectations of their parent? A parent certainly has expectations of their child. We're still getting disappointed, even if we have expectations or not. But what happens is we get these people in position and they constantly get in position. And because we've set ourselves up with this belief system that we shouldn't have expectations, no one's meeting any expectations. Essentially, is the job even getting done? Is anything even getting done? How is anybody not getting hurt in a system of no expectations? Now, I could totally understand how our expectations can go to another level, right? How our expectations of people can push us into what is, you know, essentially turning into narcissism and teetering on entitlement and other narcissistic traits. But those are extremes. Those are extremes. But what we're doing is we're saying that, hey, to keep from going the extreme, then we just won't have any expectations at all. And I believe that that is failing us. That way of thinking is failing us. And we keep getting people in position in our lives and we let them stay in that position because we say, well, if they don't meet these expectations that we're going to have anyway, we just don't even acknowledge them. And see, that's another thing. It doesn't stop us from getting hurt. Because the fact of the matter is, there are expectations of positions in our lives. We have expectations of each other. But what happens when a person doesn't meet that expectation? That's the key. What do you do then? And that's where we end up really getting hurt. Because now we've gotten into this battle with ourselves. Well, this person didn't meet my expectations, but I should have had expectations. But then if I don't have expectations, then no one my expectations, but I have the expectations, but I'm just not going to say that I have the expectations because I don't want to get hurt, but I'm going to You know, it's crazy making. There are expectations for the positions in our lives. And if a person doesn't meet those expectations, then you need to act. There's expectations on your part now. You're expected to do something when a person does not meet those expectations, and they need to be realistic. They need to be, you know what I'm saying? They need to be what's actually required or what's actually needed for that position. And see, that adds a whole other layer onto it. Because then what are we expecting of people? To work miracles, to be God in our lives, to do it all? So you see how we are like, we're just constantly getting these ideas in our mind and we're just hurting ourselves. And then we hurt ourselves. We see that we're hurting ourselves, but we don't change course. And we don't act in a way that says, hey, you know, you didn't meet my expectations. This situation didn't meet my expectations. So now I need to act accordingly. Now I need to verbalize my expectations. Maybe I need to speak to the person and let them know that, they haven't met the expectation. And then have expectations of yourself to handle the situation how it needs to be handled. We are supposed to have expectations of each other, of people who are in position in our lives, or they simply don't need to be in a position, or they simply don't need to be in our lives. It's just a thought. Sometimes we get these ideas, these quotes, and they sound so good. And maybe even they serve us for a time. But what do you do when something no longer serves you? I don't think it's right for us to not have expectations of people who are in position in our lives, whether it be our spouse, our kids, our parents, our friends, our pastors, right? There are expectations. And if a person fails to meet those expectations and you verbalize them and you've done all you can in the right way to handle that, to come to the person and let them know, like, hey, like this is what is expected of this position. And I feel like you have fell short of the expectations here. Is this what your intention is? Were you unfamiliar of what I expected? How can we get to a point where the expectations that we have of each other are observed and respected and fulfilled? So I don't know. I think we hurt ourselves sometimes with this, with these cute little mantras or quotes and ways of thinking. And it's just not serving us. I have expectations of people who are positioned in my life. I have expectations, and you should too. And you should uphold those. All right, you guys. I love you. This is Delores, the pastor's daughter. Bye bye for now.